Hello, this is Suresh from Web Marketing Academy. We are here in CEO Hangout, Bangalore. Today is July 15th and we have this Mobile and Social Marketing Summit 2015. So I had an opportunity to meet with Hanna. Hanna, why don't you just give a brief intro about who you are, what you do?
Okay, thank you, Suresh. So, hello, my name is Hanna. I'm half German, half Finnish. And I've been coming to India now since 5 years.
Wow.
I'm into freelancing, so I work in the field of communication. I've specialized on content for both German and Finnish. I'm also into blogging.
Very good.
So those are the things I do.
Excellent. My first question for you, why India and how?
Yeah, so that question comes many times and it was quite of random that I landed in India. After completing my master's thesis, I simply wanted to get a break from the minus 20 degree winter in Europe and sitting behind the laptop for months in a go. So I wrote to different yoga ashrams in the world, hoping that I could volunteer somewhere and spend a longer time abroad for a low cost.
Sure.
In a warm climate. That was my main point, just to be in a warm climate.
Okay.
And someone just said, why don't you try India? I just thought, okay, I just apply to different places and whoever responds first, that's where I'm going to go.
Okay.
And the first response came from God's own country, Kerala.
Wow, very good. You came here and initially you were settling down in Kerala. And you had no idea where you're going to settle down.
I went only to volunteer in this ashram. I did a yoga vacation of 2 weeks. And after that, I actually spoke to the management and they said, yes, you can stay as a volunteer. Means you work on a daily basis in the ashram environment. And in return, you can stay for a relatively low cost. So that enabled me to stay 3 months in India.
I think you started off with the yoga and you got fresh mind and then you decided to start something and you're doing something. So what is that you do?
Actually, it was a longer journey. It took me, I think, probably 8 or 9 trips to India to discover all of that. In the process, I met different NGOs. I met different social activists, entrepreneurs. I met many different organizations in Bangalore. I learned about education, about green initiatives. And all this while I was roaming India from north to south and east to west. I literally built a network all over the country. And then I suddenly started feeling somehow all these dots should be connected.
Right.
So that's when last year actually I decided, okay, now I'm going to start bringing all these things together and start looking at how to make services around my skills and the knowledge that I've gained in all these years.
Excellent. What is the opportunity or how so far you've been 5 years, right? What are the opportunities you've seen here or what is the opportunity you're going to see?
You mean India generally?
In terms of your work, yes.
I mean, for European countries, still India is an interesting place. I guess a lot of international companies are interested in the Indian market in terms of promoting their products or maybe also choosing India as a place for manufacturing their products. Of course, also a lot of IT services and other things come from India. So there's an interest for Europeans to come here. And I discovered, obviously in the process that there's much more.
Right.
And there are so many interesting things in this country that we can work on, that we can develop, where we can learn from. And I believe strongly in intercultural exchange.
Excellent.
And I always feel in the moment we go to another culture, we can actually widen our own horizon through the differences. We might hit a limit or a border where we feel challenged by the other culture.
Right.
As a German, we might feel, oh, it's not punctual, so much of chaos, so much of noise. Can be a shocking experience. But I think there's a very important thing, and I think most people who've traveled around the world ultimately have had this experience, even Indians who've gone to Europe, for that matter. At some point, I think one thing is you start valuing the things back home, which you didn't value before. You might, for the first time, actually when you are abroad, let's say in Germany, you might value your mom's cooking for the
Right.
first time in your life in a different way. On the other side, you also start obviously seeing what are these people maybe doing where we could learn something. And I think one thing I learned in India is that people are extremely adaptable. They're very flexible. They're highly creative. They find solutions even in a very short time. Where a German totally freezes and panics.
Right.
Indian mind starts working.
Right.
You know,
Very
so
good.
I think there's a lot of things where German entrepreneurs also could actually get inspired in India. And I think for them to see, you know, on a daily basis, this, I mean, we talk of this jugaad, what is like basically
What?
adapting.
Innovation.
And this kind of daily innovation, I think that's where we are lacking at sometimes. So there's a lot of things we can actually learn.
Very good. Thank you. What is that, your work that you do, content, and can you talk a little bit about that? How is it?
The content, and I mean, I studied German literature, so content comes to me naturally. And of course, content is strongly related to communication, and communication, again, for me is what I do every day. I'm meeting people, I'm exploring places, I'm sharing that. So I think content is nothing else. In the end, it's about, I mean, of course, one thing is I can share personal experience in the form of blogs. Hopefully people can also learn, like in this podcast, people can learn about new ideas in marketing, about mobile marketing, about entrepreneurship, innovation. That is one part of content. On the other hand, of course, I have to also sometimes write about topics that might be challenging for clients. Let's say I had to write about bricks, but today we had an example of also products that might be a little difficult. So as a content creator, we have to be very creative. We have to be able to create a story about any
Right.
kind of product. So every day we have the challenge, like even if there's a gray stone, how can I make a story out of it?
Very, very good. Is there anything that you want to ask me?
I think I probably have a lot of questions, but I'll keep them for the next
Okay.
podcast.
Very good. Very good. So, how can people find you?
People can find me on my website, which is www.hannaminers.com.
How do you spell it?
Meiners.
Okay.
It's my Hanna is just Hanna, Hanna. And there you will find social media icons that lead you to all my social media profiles.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you. That was quite interesting talking about everything. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
It would be great if you can leave us a comment or give your valuable feedback, which will help us improve the interviews. If you would like to have us interview anybody, we would be happy to do that. You can find our information at Web Marketing Academy, and my email address is Suresh, SURESH at webmarketingacademy.in. Until next time, this is Suresh